welcome to episode 2. So, as you can see that my tabs on the top, we have there's a lot of things to go over. First, a little bit of an update on the wildfires out of California. According to the Cal Fire website, there are currently two fires. The Palisades fire and the Eaton fire are still going. The Palisades fire, 23,713 acres with 52% containment. The Eaton fire, just over 14,000 acres, 81% containment. Let's zoom in here on this map. And you can get a look at the areas that are involved here and the associating evacuation orders and what's going on. And then let's go over here to the Eaton fire. You're talking 27,000, 713, 14. Literally, one's about half the size of the other. So those are still going. Good progress has been made on the Eaton fire. Palisades, I was hoping for a little bit more containment by this point, but it is what it is. They're, busting their butts out there, getting things done. So, I did see, I'm a little disappointed. I saw this article put out by the New York Post. LAFD bosses sent just 5 fire engines to Palisades fire while holding back 1,000 firefighters and 35 trucks in critical first hours. So this is a little bit of a bummer. And I hate that this ad is up here. So Los Angeles fire bosses deployed just a fraction of its firefighters and trucks to the deadly Palisades fire until it was already out of control, sending just 5 of the 40 available fire engines and holding back 1,000 firefighters, according to a damning new report. The critical decisions blasted by experts and ex-fire chiefs as a spate of missteps were made even as extreme warnings were coming in about life-threatening winds that turned the blaze into the most destructive in Los Angeles history. You would have had a better chance to get a better result if you deployed those engines. Former LAFD Battalion Chief Rick Crawford told the Los Angeles Times. You give yourself the best chance to minimize how big the fire could get. If you do that, you have the ability to say, I threw everything at it at the outset. That didn't happen here, he continued, adding the choices were part of a domino effect of missteps by officials. Officials held off on ordering hundreds of available fire crews to remain on duty for a second shift last Tuesday, which would have doubled the manpower on hand to help battle flames taking hold in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood, according to internal fire department records obtained by the Times. Despite being available, no extra engines were readied in the Palisades region prior to the fire breaking out there, according to the logs. LA's Deputy Chief Richard Fields, who was in charge of staffing and equipment, stressed that his plan was appropriate for immediate response and slammed critics for playing Monday morning quarterback. His boss, Chief Kristen Crowley, also defended the decision. The Times also reported that before the fires, LAFD leaders decided not to deploy additional engines to fire-prone areas like the Pacific Palisades. However, 9 engines were positioned in Hollywood and the San Fernando Valley in anticipation of fires breaking out there. Meanwhile, additional manpower was only called up in the now destroyed Palisades enclave after the flames were already out of control, the logs show. The plan you're using now for the fire you should have used before the fire, said Crawford, who now runs the emergency and crisis management for the U.S. Capitol. It's a known staffing tactic, a deployment model. Crawford, as well as other former chiefs with lengthy experience in fire tactics, stressed that at least 24 of the more than 40 engines should have been staged in the Palisades and other hillside regions in advance. Fields told the Times that he stands by his decision, given the calls across the department tonight the fire blazed out of control were double normal. Hurricane force Santa Ana winds blasted the city, whipping up to 100 miles per hour and spreading embers for miles beyond the fire. It's very easy to Monday morning quarterback and sit on the couch and tell us what we should have done now that the thing has happened, he said. What we did was based on many years' experience and also trying to be responsible for the rest of the city at any given time of day. Well, here's the issue that I have with that sentence. What we did was based on many years of experience. If it was, okay, then how come the other person in this article, okay, um, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Um, Rick Crawford. Okay, Rick Crawford would have done it differently. So how can you sit there and say that it was based on experience if the people who was in that role before would have done it completely differently? Um, I accept that we could be scrutinized for not having enough after the thing has happened, Fields added, but I would challenge any of those people that scrutinize that to make a different decision prior to the thing happening. Yeah, you should have made a different decision. I mean, there's plenty of warning. Um, I mean, how do you not? I don't understand how you have that information and you just choose to do nothing. Um, it goes on. Officials, including Fields, haven't detailed the exact reasoning behind the early decision making, but have suggested it came down to ensuring resources were still available elsewhere across the city for non-wildfire related emergency calls. Okay. I mean, I don't know how things work out there, but things that I have experience with, um, you you put those resources, you have those resources. Okay, so you would put them in place. There's a high chance that you're going to need them. Okay, so put them there. Okay, the saying in the industry goes, it's better to have them and not need them than to not have them and need them. Okay, because when you need them right now. Okay, anybody can tell you. All right, when you're in a situation like that and the shit has hit the fan, okay, and you need additional manpower or you need additional hose lines, you need water, okay, you need it right now, okay. If you gotta wait for it, it really sucks. It really sucks to sit there, and wait, okay. Um, I don't know how, like I said, I don't know how things work out there with, um, you know, mutually departments and whatnot. Okay, but I don't see why they couldn't have allocated those resources for the wildfire. All right, and okay, if you got an influx of medical calls or an influx of other non-wildfire related emergency calls, okay, you're the fucking LAFD. Okay, I'm sure, all right, that you have other resources, that you have reserve apparatus, okay, or other connections. I'm sure you have um, a pool of mutual aid that you can tap into and go, okay, help us out with these things, okay? Yeah, you don't want to, maybe you don't want to tap into them, send them to the wildfire and then keep your stuff for those things, because then your stuff might not be needed at that point. Okay, but you have this action plan. You have this threat. Okay, like, how do you not do anything? You just, and then, like, after the shit's already hitting the fan, oh, now we're gonna do something, and now it's gotten to the point where it's so big, it's so out of control, we're screwed. You know, I just, I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. That makes zero sense. And obviously, I'm not the only person that thinks that. Okay. Um. So it says Fire Chief Crowley too argued that leaders had to be strategic with limited resources they had available. Okay. The plan that they put together, I stand behind, because we have to manage everybody in the city. Crowley said. Okay. Well, no. Well, no shit. It comes down to resource management. Okay. But, like, you also can't sit there and just go, oh yeah, there's a high chance that this shit's gonna hit the fan over here. We're just gonna wait and see what happens. We're not gonna pre-plan. We're not gonna, you know, um, be ready if it happens. We're not gonna be proactive. All right, we're just gonna sit here on our ass and see what happens. Okay. Um, yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay. Um, So this is the plan. Okay. She previously claimed that Mayor Karen Bass funding cuts to the department had left the LDFD without the resources it needed to fight the fires. Crews fighting the Palisades fire also reported early on that they struggled to fight flames after local hydrants ran dry due to low water pressure. Okay, that's another thing. That kind of all goes into these missteps and bullcrap. Like, it's a big um, um, snowball effect. Okay, and that shouldn't have happened. Okay, my opinion, that shouldn't have happened. Okay, because again, you pull up on an engine, all right, and you got a shitload of fire you're looking at. You need water. Okay, you run out of water, that's a problem. Okay, big problem. So that shouldn't have happened. Okay, now I haven't looked into why it did happen. Um, but if there's an issue, they need to find it and fix it. All right, and if this is a known issue, okay, um, then um, you know, I don't see why, and I could have swore that they did. Um, hmm, bear with me here for a moment. I want to look at something. You know, there are agencies that have humongous um, tankers. Yeah, they have tankers. Um, but what I'm looking for is bigger, because I thought they had, like, um, big tankers. Maybe they don't. But I mean, here's the thing. Okay, come up with a solution. All right, if that's the issue, if you know that's a problem. All right. Let me see. I think I might have found something. Of course, there's no details on this truck at all. Um, but I thought, you know, to take a truck like that, you know, I mean, I don't know where you'd find a fill site where you'd be able to fill from. Um, I don't know what their water operations are like out there, but out here where I live, in the middle of nowhere, okay, not all fire districts have hydrants. All right, you got to set up a fill site and then have a tanker shuttle back and forth. Okay, um, I don't know why they couldn't do the same thing out there. Maybe they can't. I don't know. But that's something that they should definitely look into. Okay, so we're gonna switch gears here. Um, um, I don't want to listen to the audio pronunciation, but I don't know how to pronounce. Hang on one second. Okay, so Christmas Day. All right, so I guess let's look at this. And I haven't. I guess some of this is going to be unorganized and apologizing in advance. I haven't sat down and like got everything all like organized. So Azerbaijan, okay, Airlines flight 8243 on Christmas Day. Okay, um, the scheduled passenger flight. All right, from Baku to Grozny. I don't know how to pronounce it, to Russia. Okay, it's an Embraer 190 AR. Okay, so it crashed um, near the Aktau International Airport. okay, in Kazakhstan. Um, I I don't know. Maybe I should play the video. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna no. Anyway, you can find it anywhere. Just type it in. You'll on Google. You'll find it. Okay. All right. So first, what what like it was a bird strike. Okay, that was the first thing that I had heard. It's a bird strike. All right. So I I saw pictures of it though. Um, and here's the thing. All right. Well, let me go back. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay. All right. So it took off. So it took off here. This is the flight of it. Okay. It took off here. All right. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay. So left Baku. All right. It was going to Grozny. Okay. And along the way, it lost signal. Right? They lost connection of it. Okay. Um, and then they picked it up again. Um, like 3 quarters away across the Caspian Sea, and then it crashed on final approach to Grozny. Okay, so it's just weird to me, and it's weird because when they're like, oh, like bird strike, and I looked at the pictures, I'm like, that doesn't look like a bird strike to me. Um, I mean, I guess what they were saying was, well, like, it looked like, so I guess a bird hit an engine, and it was the shrapnel um, from the engine. All right, let me pull that up over here. All right, this looks weird to me. It looks really weird to me, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know stuff about this. Anyway, okay. All right, so aircraft. There's a lot of things pointing to that it's believed, okay, to have been hit by a surface to air missile. I don't know what a surface to air missile would do to a plane, but it doesn't look like that either. I mean, wouldn't it just like blow the plane up? Um, but anyway, the aircraft attempted to divert, but ultimately crashed near Aktau, all right, Kazakhstan. All right, 62 passengers, 5 crew on board. All right, so a total of 67 people, 38 ended up dying. So 40 minutes after takeoff, they lost GPS navigation lead. Okay, they believe that's due to jamming in the area. Okay. Now, there's also reports that there was some stuff going on between Russia and a Ukrainian um, UAV at the time. Also, I don't know. Um, so it says as the plane approached its destination, the 81 minutes into flight, passengers reported an explosion and shrapnel striking the aircraft. In radio transmissions, the pilots attributed the event to a bird strike and requested a diversion. They initiated emergency protocols, including squawking 7700 on the transponder, and redirected the flight over the Caspian Sea toward Aktau. Okay. However, images of the crash scene revealed perforated holes in the tail section, damage that experts deemed to be inconsistent with a bird strike, but resembling the impact of a surface-to-air missile. Okay. The next day, on December 26th, Euronews reported that, citing Azerbaijani government sources, the plane had been hit mid-flight by a Russian missile during efforts to repel a Ukrainian drone attack on Grozny Airport. Okay. Shrapnel from the blast injured several passengers and a cabin crew. Okay. So 2 days later, December 27th, New York Times reported that Azerbaijani investigators believed a Russian Panzer S-1 air defense system had damaged the plane before it crashed. Okay. December 28th, Vladimir Putin, right, apologized to the president of Azerbaijan for the tragic incident involving the aircraft in Russian airspace. He stated that Ukrainian drones had been targeting Grozny at the time and that Russian air defenses had repelled these attacks. But he did not confirm, and I think he was pretty careful here, did not confirm if the flight had been shot down or acknowledged any Russian responsibility. Okay? So now the next day, the day after, now the 29th, okay, President Aliyev said that Russia had accidentally shot down the plane. He accused Russia of attempting to obfuscate and hush up the crash, and then demanded a full admission of guilt, punishment for those responsible, and compensation for the victims and their families. Okay. So, according to ATC transcripts, a non-directional beacon approached runway 26. They were cleared, but due to fog, the crew boarded the landing and initiated a go-around. They were cleared for a second landing attempt, but again due to the fog, the crew boarded the landing. The crew informed controllers that they would be returning to Baku. As the plane departed Grozny, passengers reported an explosion and shrapnel striking the aircraft. Now, the thing about the GPS going out, okay, so Russia has been doing that against the Ukrainian drones. And it's also interesting because, as you read here, GPS jamming, okay, is prohibited according to the International Telecommunication Union and the International Civil Aviation Organization. Okay. So they were asked to divert to the airport when I'm hearing the weather. Asked instead to divert to, I have no idea. Shortly after, the crew reported a hydraulics failure. Air traffic controllers told the crew not to attempt a landing due to Makakala. I have no idea. Crew issued a distress signal reporting a failure in the control system. Flight is instructed to contact Rostov. So, this whole thing here. Okay. So this all started at 8:50. Because of GPS. So at 9:16, they reported the control failure. Okay. 9:22, hydraulics failure. Distress signal at 9:25, reporting failure of the control system. All right. So at 9:49, pilots requested an emergency landing at Actown, attempted to manage the approach in direct mode, with the estimated landing set for 10:25. At 10, Emergency Situations Department, send emergency response and resources to Actown. The plane entered Kazakh airspace at 10:02, repairing ADS via 10:07. Altitude and speed data from ADS indicated the aircraft experienced extremely varying altitude and speed values. Unable to land on the first attempt, they attempted to go around. Making a third turn at 10:28, communication between the pilot and air traffic control was lost at 10:30. The airliner struck the ground 3 kilometers from the airport, with its right wing hitting first, then tumbled, exploded, and broke into 2 major pieces. The explosion, combined with the fire that broke out after the plane crash, destroyed the front section of the plane. The tail section of the plane came to rest upside down away from the main wreckage and remained largely intact. The crash was captured on video, which showed that the landing gear was deployed when the plane hit the ground. In response, additional resources and personnel from the Emergency Situations Department around that scene at 10:35 were deployed. An elevated emergency rank, extinguishing the fire by 11:05. Surviving crew members said that the pilots initially ordered them to prepare for a water landing before changing to a ground landing. Okay. So there's the timeline. Passengers and crew. So there were even Russians on the plane. So there's this whole big investigation going on, obviously. So I wanted to look at what a Panzer, because I believe that it's air defense system, the Panzer S1, and I don't know, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. All right, but this is an S2. Okay. But I mean, this is pretty much. I mean, this is the S1 on a track platform. But so it's got his missiles and it has anti-aircraft guns on it. That's a look at the missile. And then the gun. It's a 2A38M twin barrel automatic anti-aircraft gun. It's a 30 millimeter gun. Actually, a picture of that here. So it's an ongoing thing. They looked at the black boxes were recovered, sent back to Brazil for analysis. I don't know what I mean. They haven't really said anything. Everything's just been like we're looking into it, we're investigating. As you can see here, there's no set timeline for investigators to release their findings, which will ultimately be determined by the authorities in Kazakhstan. Okay. Azerbaijan is obviously pissed. I don't blame them. I don't think anybody would. They're going after Russia pretty hard. A lot of other people are also saying, because he's coming right out and saying, listen, yes, Russia hit it for the missile strike. Okay. Other people are saying, let's not rush to that conclusion. Let's see what let's see how things play out. Okay. to me, it just, I mean, like I said, I don't know anything for anything, but to me, it just looks weird. Like it says here that fuselage is riddled with holes. I mean, what does, I mean, what's the difference between the a bird strike and then shrapnel hitting the fuselage, and then what's the, because the missile didn't directly cause the holes in the fuselage. Okay, I would imagine that that would come from shrapnel, from the initial strike. All right, so I mean, what's the difference between shrapnel strikes from a bird strike and shrapnel strikes from a missile strike? I don't know. Um, there's another article here. Um, you know, again, Azerbaijan accusing Russia of a cover up. Um, I think that's a little bit. I mean, yeah, he's pissed. He's got to be pissed, and he's probably getting pressure, from people. Um, but I don't know if it were me, I don't know if I'd be going that hard. You know, um, but a lot of people, are saying, well, it does not look like a bird strike. Um, so, um, I honestly, what I believe that, and I think another thing, which I wish I could call somebody on the phone or sit down with somebody and talk to them and be like, hey, excuse me, how do these things work? Okay. Um, because if Russia, if Ukrainian drones are in the area, and Russia is trying to repel those drones and is firing at those drones, okay, I would imagine the the Panzer, the way the Panzer works, okay, back here, it has a command post, and it's got has radar, okay, it's got two radar detection systems on it. But what I don't understand is like, is there a person that verifies that? Is there a person in that command post, okay, that is watching that? Okay, sees the contact on radar. Okay, does this thing fire automatically? Does somebody else need to, push a button, flick a switch? Um, I mean, it can operate, yes, in automatic mode. It can be automatic. But what was the situation then? And then is there a situation that goes, this thing automatically locks onto a target? Is there something in that that goes, hey, it's a UAV, or hey, it's a passenger plane? Because there's a difference. There's a difference between UAVs and passenger planes. So, is there some kind of system in there that differentiates between the two? I don't know. Um, Again, I'll be looking into this and hoping that there's things released. I don't know how long these things take, but it's something I will keep an eye out for. Um, Honestly, I got off track here. My belief is that um, um, it was accidental. It was shot down by Russian air defense accidentally. Um, I mean, it definitely looks like that. I mean, we don't. I mean, yeah, the report could come out and say something completely different, and I would, kind of be surprised. Um, but the way it's looking to me, the way my gut is telling me right now, that looking at this, is that um, is that it was accidental. That you know, Russian air defense accidentally shot down this plane. But yeah. Anyway, big switch to gears. Let's look at weather. Okay, so um, Trump's inauguration is coming up. All right, I'm recording this on Sunday, the day before his inauguration. Okay, and yeah, there's a massive polar vortex coming down from Canada, um, and it could be the coldest inauguration in 40 years. And they're actually moving the inauguration inside, which it's created put a lot of people into a tizzy, created a lot of issues. They can't have as many people there as they want. A lot of people are upset. You know, um, but the temperatures, probably going to be in the mid 20s, which by itself doesn't sound that bad. I mean, again, like I'm used to cold weather. Okay, I wouldn't want to be outside for a long period of time. I don't know how long the inauguration is, but I wouldn't want to be outside for hours or whatever in the 20s. Okay, um, but let's throw some wind into that. We're gonna throw gusty winds into that. It's gonna be downright freaking cold. Okay, um, so the high is gonna be mid 20s. The lows are going to be in the low teens. It could even be single digits. Okay. They're getting snow down there today. All right. So I just want to look at a few other things. So if anybody's wondering what a polar vortex is, okay, um, polar vortex is a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding both the Earth's poles. Always exists near the poles, but weakens in the summer and strengthens in the winter. The term vortex refers to the counterclockwise flow of air that helps keep the coldest air near the poles. Okay, many times during the winter, in the northern hemisphere, the polar vortex will expand, sending cold air southward into the jet stream. And this occurs fairly regularly during wintertime and is often associated with large outbreaks of Arctic air in the United States. The one that occurred on January 2014 is similar to many other cold outbreaks that have occurred in the past, including several notable cold outbreaks in 1977, 1982, 1985, and 1989. Okay, and you can basically see here the image, cold air up here, and then all of a sudden, boop, you know. There are several things the polar vortex is not. Okay, polar vortexes are not something new. The term polar vortex has only recently been popularized, bringing attention to a weather feature that has always been present. Because you hear people are like, "Well, how come they've never happened before? They've always happened." It's just a new like catchphrase. It's a new like buzzword. Um, it's also not a feature that exists at the Earth's surface. Weather forecasters examine the polar vortex by looking at conditions tens of thousands of feet up in the atmosphere. However, when we feel extremely cold air from the Arctic regions at Earth's surface, it is sometimes associated with the polar vortex. This is not confined to the United States. Portions of Europe and Asia also experience cold surges connected to the polar vortex. By itself, the only danger to humans is the magnitude of how cold temperatures will get when the polar vortex expands, sending Arctic air southward into areas that are not typically that cold. In short, there is no cause to be alarmed when you hear about the polar vortex, but you should be prepared for cold temperatures. Check the forecast for your area on weather.gov to ensure you are dressed appropriately. It's also a good idea to check the items in your home and emergency kits at the beginning of each winter season to ensure you are prepared for any type of hazardous winter weather. Okay, so uh, if you live in any areas of the Northeast, okay, because that's what's coming this week. Northeast, I don't know, it might just be the whole North, the continental U.S. dress appropriately. Okay, check on your friends, check on your neighbors, especially the elderly. You know, make sure they got heat. If you know anybody that's homeless, check on them. All right. Um, I mean, it could be life threatening cold. Okay. Um, so what I wanted to see is it does not tell me. Oh, that's cold water. I thought this said cold weather. Oh my goodness. Um, let's look at here. Okay. Let's look at. All right. Remove clothing into a warm area. Warm up with dry layers of blankets or clothing. Place skin affected by frostbite in warm water, not hot. Okay. Um, do not use fireplaces or artificial heat sources for warming. Do not rub or put pressure on areas with frostbite. Um, vulnerable populations, okay, newborns, elderly, those are chronic illness, outdoor workers, or the unhoused. Again, like check in on people. Okay, people could die. This is not, and I kind of giggle because I'm like, some people just, it's amazing to me how some people don't like how unseriously some people take this. You know, it's not something to mess around with. Okay? Some people are like, it's not that serious, blah blah blah. Why are you taking it so serious? It's people could die. I mean, it's not something to mess around with. So yes, dress for. I don't know why that. We go here. No, I want these images, but confusion, shivering, difficulty speaking. Why can't I? I can't even. I can't even stop those click those images. Like, why would you do that? I don't know why. Why won't? Or at least make those images available here. But oh man, maybe they're here. Probably not. No. What the heck? Like, come on, National Weather Service. Okay, so another thing I want to show you. So for the inauguration, okay, so because I've seen people go, "Oh, it's not gonna be that cold. It's gonna be in the mid-20s." Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so this is current conditions at the Reagan Airport, D.C. Okay, this is from the local forecast office, which is the NWS, Baltimore, Maryland, Washington D.C. Okay, Martin Luther King Day, mostly sunny with a high near 24. West wind 13 to 18. Gusts as high as 31. All right. So let's pull up a wind chill chart here. Okay. So it said what? High near 24. Okay. So 13 to 18. All right, 24. Let's go 25. Okay. So right here. All right. So 13 to 18. Okay. So let's do 10 to 20. All right. So you're looking at your wind chill. Okay, is going to be 11 to 15 degrees. Okay. That's just like constant. Okay, because now your temperature, you got your regular wind. Okay. So now you're gusting. Okay. You're gusting up to 31. Gust size 31. All right. Now 25, 30. Let's go 30. Okay. So 25-degree temperature with a 30-mile-an-hour wind gust. You're looking at a wind chill of 8. Okay. 8 degrees. Okay. That's, as you can see here, frostbite in 30 minutes. Okay. Now, do you think it's really safe to be outside for hours at a time like that? No. Okay. And I've seen people, all right, and I don't, sometimes, yeah, I want to get political, so I'll help, but sometimes I'm like, you know, I see people, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Not going to be that bad, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that, da, 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 da. Listen, just look at it. Single digit wind chills, okay? Frostbite in 30 minutes, okay? It's not smart to have an outside inauguration, okay? It's just not. So they're doing the right thing by putting it inside, okay? All these people that are like, well, it's going to be 20 degrees, it's going to be fine, blah, 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 this, and blah, 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 that. Cut the bullshit, okay? The facts say otherwise. All right, well, and then one last final thing, um, TikTok. All right, so TikTok went down last night for a little while. People freaked out. Okay, came back on today. Okay, it's been in some limbo. It's gonna get banned. Law was passed. Blah blah blah. Trump's gonna try to see if we work out a deal. This, that, and the other thing. Okay, so I found this article from Axios. It's kind of backwards from how I would put it, but I wanted to share it. So TikTok ban timeline. Here's where things stand. Okay. So August 6, 2020, Trump attempts to force TikTok sale. Because the whole thing behind this, when it got started, was the data mining, you know, that threat to national security and blah blah blah. Okay. So April 24th, 2024, Biden signs bipartisan TikTok bill. Okay. May 7th, 2024, TikTok and ByteDance sue U.S. And you can't say, because people have said that they've gone against Trump, and they're like, well, it's not a national security threat. Okay, well, it had to be to at least some degree, because there was guidance that came out that said any government issued phone, don't put TikTok on it. Okay, like no TikTok on government issued phones, not happening. Okay. So August 2nd, 2024, the FTC and DOJ sue TikTok and ByteDance. December 6th, federal appeals court upholds the ban. Right. December 27th, Trump asks SCOTUS for ban pause. January 10th was Supreme Court hearing, and then the 19th was which is today, deadline to ban or sell. Okay. So, um, basically, the law passed requires them to either sell the app to a U.S. company or shut down operations in the country by January 19th. Okay. Um, the deadline could be extended 100 days if sales underway. The bill was passed with broad bipartisan support and was signed by Biden. Um, the concern is that the ByteDance is controlled by the Chinese government. Okay. Um, most of the justices honed in on one central point. Law would allow TikTok to keep operating if it used an algorithm other than the one created by ByteDance. ByteDance, the Chinese company, doesn't have First Amendment rights. The law doesn't say TikTok has to shut down. It's just ByteDance has to divest. Okay. So I think um, um, uh, so this kind of goes backwards. This works now and goes backwards. So let's go down here to the end and work forward. Okay. All right. So 2020, Trump attempts to force sale. Okay. He spearheaded the initial effort to ban TikTok with an executive order in 2020, citing national security concerns. Okay. Pushed for an acquisition by Microsoft, which I think would have sucked because I have issues with Microsoft. Okay, software giant Oracle then made a bid to become TikTok's trusted technology partner in the U.S. After much pressure, TikTok agreed to protect U.S. data through an alliance with Oracle. Project Texas, June 2022. After long-standing pressure from the U.S. government, TikTok began routing all of its U.S. user data, to Oracle's cloud infrastructure. Oracle then began vetting TikTok's algorithms and content moderation models to ensure they aren't manipulated by Chinese authorities. The move was part of Project Texas, a $1.5 billion dollar blade. Wow, sorry. The move was part of Project Texas, a $1.5 billion plan aimed at ensuring Americans that TikTok is safe, their data is secure, and the platform is free from outside influence. The project name refers to Oracle's headquarters in Texas. TikTok had been preparing Project Texas for over a year by separating its U.S. operations, back end functions, and code. February 2023, the Biden administration sought to regulate TikTok and ban the app from federal devices. March 2023, TikTok CEO Shu Zichu, I have no idea if that's correct, I'm sorry, it's not, defended the company in a hearing before lawmakers who fiercely advocated for banning the app. Shu at the time repeatedly downplayed the app's connections to China and referenced TikTok's unprecedented data security practices compared to unnamed social media competitor. Still, members of the House Committee on Energy Commerce came out in support of a full ban of the app in the U.S. 2023, in May, Montana became the first U.S. state to sign legislation banning TikTok. It came as several other Republican-led states banned TikTok on government-issued devices, but Montana was the first state to impose a total app ban. However, a federal judge in November blocked the ban before it took effect. March 2024, House of Representatives passed the TikTok bill. April 2024, Biden signs the TikTok bill. He shortly signed a TikTok bill forcing TikTok's Chinese parent company to divest from its U.S. operations or face a nationwide ban, setting up a protracted legal fight over the fate of the app. TikTok and ByteDance sued the U.S. in May. The FTC, DOJ sued TikTok and ByteDance in August. December 2024, Federal Appeals Court upholds the ban. They ruled it is constitutional. Three-judge panel's opinion set the stage for the Supreme Court fight. Justice Department TikTok had asked the court for early December ruling in order to seek scope review before the law's mid-January deadline. Okay. December 27th, Trump asked SCOTUS for a ban pause. His argument was not rooted in any of the First Amendment or national security concerns it issued the case. Rather, he argued the High Court should allow him the time to resolve the dispute through political means. President Trump alone possesses the consummate deal-making expertise, the electoral mandate, and the political will to negotiate a resolution to save the platform while addressing the national security concerns expressed by the government. the League of British States. Um, and then obviously the hearing, which I said already. Um, well, it doesn't say TikTok has shut down. It says ByteDance has to divest. Okay, so it's back as of right now. Trump is, you know, TikTok yesterday, and I get their concern. Totally get it. Because Biden was like, well, I'm not going to enforce it, and TikTok was like, well, we want some kind of assurance. And Biden just, whatever, just who knows. Anyway, that didn't happen, so they shut it down last night. Trump has come out and said, you know, I'll work on it. Just give me some time. Let's see if we can work something out. I honestly think, to me, I think a lot of people, they don't, they're just uneducated on TikTok. I mean, yeah, there's some serious concerns. Those are valid. But I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand or didn't understand how important the app is. Um, and there's a lot of people that make money on TikTok. Like that's how they make their money. Um, so I don't think they understood the magnitude of a ban is, and I think now they're like, okay, we need to reevaluate things a little bit. Let's see if we can come up with a plan, some kind of deal to save things a little bit. And I'm hoping now that, tomorrow, like, and I know Trump just wanted some kind of, hey, let's, you know, extend things a little bit. Let me get sworn in. Let's look at what's going on. Let's see if we can figure something out. Um, I mean, there's got to be some kind of diplomatic thing that can go on here, some kind of diplomatic resolution. Um, so I'm hoping that happens. Um, yeah. So anyway, that's all I have for right now. Is there something else that I will stay updated on? I will, we'll see what progresses and how things go from here. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the second episode. I apologize for episode one. My audio was, I guess, was low. Everything seemed fine until uploaded, and then I don't know what happened. I tried to fix it, but it didn't seem to make it much better. Hopefully, that's better this time around. And yeah, so um, have a good week. I will catch you all next week. Stay warm. Um, Stay safe if you have to go out in the snow and the cold. And don't forget to check on your friends and your neighbors. And hopefully everything is cool and copacetic. Okay, I will see you next time.